Are serial killers born or they are created by society? Do they really have feelings? Do they sleep at night with a clean conscience? Do they have families, wives, children, husbands, relatives? How do they relate to their neighbors? Are they part of society or they are a secluded lot? These are some of the questions we ask ourselves whenever the term serial killer crops up. Fear rattles our frames and our minds are numb with dread. Our days and nights are nightmares. The whistling of the wind or any rustling sound portends danger or doom. Can serial killers be stopped, prevented? Does society have a safety net? Welcome to Luminous Recaps, the home of diverse stories of humankind. Today I go into the dark world of serial killers and try to unravel the mystery, the myths, the stereotypes, the facts, the figures. It is truly a bizarre world. Let's relive it together. Jack the Ripper was a notorious serial killer or murderer. He was an unidentified serial killer who operated in and around the impoverished Whitechapel district and Spitalfields of London, England, around 1888. Crime case files and accounts by journalists indicate that he was also known as the Whitechapel murderer. The motives of his actions were unknown, but there have been suggestions that it was pure rage. The number of people that he has killed is not necessarily fixed, but at least 5 confirmed. His date of birth is unknown. His attacks typically involved women who worked as prostitutes, who lived and worked in the slums, in the poverty-stricken parts of East End of London. The victims' throats were cut before their bodies were mutilated. This was true of at least 3 victims. This led to speculation that the killer had some kind of surgical knowledge. He became so popular that letters were written to the press and to the police by people who purported or claimed to be the murderer. It became a sensational case. How did the name originate? It is said that it originated from a letter that was written by an individual who claimed to be the murderer. The letter was believed to be nothing but a hoax, possibly written by someone or some people in the media to heighten interest in the case and increase newspaper circulation. Because of the modus operandi of this murderer, he was aptly named Jack the Ripper. The public, as a result, began to increasingly believe there was one serial killer out there known as Jack the Ripper. The extraordinary brutal nature of the murders and the media coverage of the crime led to worldwide attention. Because of the media coverage, the murderer gained international fame and his legendary status began. Police investigations into the series of 11 brutal murders in the Whitechapel and Spitalfields between 1888 and 1891 was not able to link the murders to a single person. The 5 victims, Mary A. Nichols, Anne Chapman, Elizabeth Stride, Catherine and Mary Jane Kelly, are known as the Canonical 5, and their murders took place between 31 August and 9 November. The murders were never solved. The murders became a subject of various researches, theories, and folklore. The murderer captured public imagination and interest. The 11 have been blamed on this mysterious single murderer, but however, only 5 were linked to a single man after thorough investigation. The 5 were Mary Nichols, found on 31 August, Anne Chapman, found 8 September, Elizabeth Stride, found 30 September, Catherine Eddowes, September 30, and Mary Jane Kelly, found November 9. The 5 were believed to be prostitutes. All the details were based, however, on claims and documents and were never really proved. In each instance, the victims' throats were cut and their bodies were mutilated. The British authorities received a number of taunting letters from a person calling himself Jack the Ripper. Efforts were made to identify and trap this notorious killer, but nothing materialized. Because of the failure of the police and public outcry, the London Police Commissioner resigned. One outstanding factor in this case was that Serial murders were rare then than they are now. Jack the Ripper has become a source, has provided themes for numerous literary and dramatic works, e.g. horror movies, such as The Lodger, 1913, The Lodger, 1927. Suspects included Montague Druitt, a barrister and a teacher with an interest in surgery. He was later found dead. He was said to be insane and disappeared after the final murders. Michael Ostrog, a Russian criminal and physician, had also shown homicidal tendencies. He had been placed in an asylum. The other suspect was Aaron Kosminski, a Polish Jew and a resident of Whitechapel. He had animosity against women, especially prostitutes. He had also been hospitalized at an asylum several months after the last murder. Other suspects included painter Walter Sickert and a physician named Sir William Gull. They were subjects of speculation, but nothing concrete materialized. The murder sites in the poor districts of London have become the setting of the macabre tourist industry in London. The Victorian period, which roughly corresponds with the time the murders were committed, was characterized by a class-based society, a growing industry, and the majority of the people tended to suffer the effects of the growing economy. Poverty was a nagging problem of the Victorian society. It is because of this that people lived in squalor. And one of the places which suffered the negative effects of the Victorian period was Whitechapel. This is where Jack the Ripper took advantage of the less privileged of society. Prostitution was rampant as people tried to eke a living out of whatever means was available.